going on, guys? This is Macleod GF, and today I'm going to be doing another LEGO Star Wars Rebels 2015 set review on the Imperial Troop Transport. And the set number for this one is 75078. The recommended ages are 6 through 12, and it has a piece count of 141, while the price point is $12.99. And man, why has it taken LEGO this many years to finally give us a battle pack with nothing but Stormtroopers in it? It has been way too long, but there was definitely never, was never too late for a Stormtrooper battle pack to come out. So I'm really glad that this has finally happened, because LEGO actually did it pretty well here with 4 Stormtroopers with the Star Wars Rebels design, because obviously this is a Star Wars Rebels set. This is a Star Wars Rebels vehicle that is in this series, even though obviously it existed before the series itself. And usually LEGO doesn't actually give us vehicles that actually exist in Star Wars canon for battle packs. Usually we get like a random walker or a random speeder that they just make up on the fly. So having an actual vehicle, while yes, it is way beyond out of scale, it is still really nice and definitely a plus for this set. This entire set is awesome. I don't even see why you think you should be watching this review. You should definitely just get this set. It is definitely worth that 13 bucks. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. No, I'm just kidding. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get into all the reasons just as to why I definitely think, like I said, you should be picking up this set, because it is just overall really great. These are the same standard Star Wars Rebels Stormtroopers, but I still love the design. That's why I'm really glad we get 4 of these in this battle pack, and this entire set is just a straight up set full of these guys, which is sweet because I love the design on these. I've loved the helmet ever since they first debuted in the summer of last year. The mouth really did work for me personally. I do like it, and the printing on the rest of it, all the details on the front of the helmet really make this figure complete for me, especially the leg printing. The leg printing definitely helps for that. The leg printing, always great to see again. And the same could be said for the torso and how detailed it is. It's amazing how far Stormtrooper minifigures have come. And the same could be said for the back, the grenade canister, all of that still there, really awesome. So yeah, and we do have the standard clone trooper head for 2 of these Stormtroopers, but if we go ahead and remove this one's helmet, you can see we do get a couple of the new ones as well, which is definitely really nice. It's just, it's like, you know, it's understandable that we were getting clone trooper heads for all these Stormtroopers, but now it's like LEGO has gone out of their way to give us more clone heads, when really there weren't a lot of clones still Stormtroopers at this point in time in the Star Wars universe. So it's like they couldn't give us a couple of normal heads to make it a little bit more accurate. It's just, instead they give us more clone heads, and it's nice to get more of these for our clone troopers. It's just for Stormtroopers, I'm not so sure, because it is a little bit weird, and I know a lot of you guys will understand that, but yeah, it's still really nice to get more of these heads regardless. But yeah, then they have these standard stud shooters. You guys know how stud shooters work. These are made up of 3 pieces, obviously being the main gun itself, the stud, and then the lever that fires them, and then you just push down on them and they fire their studs. A very effective playability feature, and while yeah, we you know, standard guns are becoming you know, less and less present in LEGO sets, it's still really cool because these are great playability features for kids, especially when you're, you know, trying to do army building and you're obviously setting up battles, and it makes sense to have these in battle packs especially. So overall, this set has some great minifigures, and it's just great to see an entire set with just these guys in it. Alright, so now on to the Imperial Troop Transport itself. This thing, like I said in the start of this review, there is no such thing as scale with this, with the Imperial Troop Transport here, but this thing actually has quite a history. I mean, it was the very first vehicle to be made as a toy that didn't actually show up in the films, but then Kenner, way back in the 1970s, when they made that toy, they said that this was the vehicle that the Stormtroopers showed up in when they slaughtered all the Jawas at the Sandcrawler in Episode 4. So this was basically, like they said, an off-screen vehicle that the Stormtroopers were using on Tatooine, and then eventually it showed up in some comics some years later, and then now they have revived the design and they are using it frequently in Star Wars Rebels, the Lucasfilm Animation Division. So I think that's really great how they revive such old and, you know, forgotten designs like this and like the ATDP. So I think that's pretty sweet. But yeah, so I mean, LEGO, like I said, there's no such thing as scale here, but there is definitely such thing as playability, because obviously all the Stormtroopers, they have their stud shooters, so right there you have your main playability feature, but you can load up all 4 Stormtroopers inside the ATDP by just placing them on their respective studs and closing the flaps in front of their legs. And now, I mean, on the actual ATDP, there is a lot more room inside, and they're usually, you can see 3 Stormtroopers on each side of the, now, did I say ATDP? I meant Imperial Troop Transport. Sorry, I was talking about the ATDP earlier there. But I mean, yeah, usually you're able to put 3 Stormtroopers on the sides of of the Imperial troop transports, but unfortunately, you know, like I said, you know, scale is not exactly a thing with this set, so you only have these 4 just kind of shoved on the sides, which is okay, because I'm just still really glad that we got a actual vehicle that exists within Star Wars canon for a battle pack for a change. And on the top here, if you couldn't already tell, we have a rotating cannon that does have a couple of flick fire missiles in it, and if you hold it down, you can fire the flick fire missiles pretty well. If you can just, there we go, they're working with me finally. But I mean, if you just try to flick them without holding it down, it's pretty annoying, because then the thing just basically turns away from you, because obviously it's on the swivel piece, so I would not recommend flicking them like that. But I mean, yeah, you get the idea. If we go ahead and pull this out, actually, to give you a look at this, you can see we actually have a little canister in here, which is just held in with a couple of bars that slide into those 1x4 modified bricks. And inside we have the extra studs that you know, go on the Stormtroopers stud shooters, just put in this little crate here. And yeah, this can probably easily fall out while playing with it, but it's still pretty cool to have a nice little storage you know, container for these studs in this set. And I mean, you can just put a 2x2 plate or tile on top of that and solve that problem pretty easily. Or I mean, maybe it won't fit if you do that, but it's still pretty cool regardless. And yeah, obviously these cannons don't do anything. These are just a couple of connectors on the front, and then you get the idea of how just, you know, out of scale this thing is by looking at the cockpit, because, you know, there's supposed to be a minifigure in there if this thing was actually to scale. But if we wanted a to scale Imperial troop transport, this thing would have to be like a $30–40 set, which none of us want. We all want a really cool Stormtroopers battle pack, and I'm just really glad that at least we got the Imperial troop transport in some form, and that with this set we didn't just get a random vehicle that LEGO made up on the fly. We actually have a vehicle that, you know, actually exists in the Star Wars canon, so that's pretty sweet. This set is pretty sweet. Hopefully this has convinced you of that, but without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and check out the box, instruction manual, extra pieces, and then we can finally wrap up this review. We've got the standard battle pack size box for this set, but before I get into that, I just really want to show you real quick that I did leave out the fact that you can take these Stormtroopers stud shooters and they can be placed right here on these little on the edges of these modified bricks. So you have 4 slots for all 4 of these stud shooters, and you can just pretty much, if you can avoid you know, firing these stud, you can just slot them right in there, and then these Stormtroopers will still be able to stand right in front of them, and you can close the hatches on each of them. So that's just something I wanted to mention. I didn't want to leave that out, but there is actually storage for all 4 of their stud shooters, but I think it definitely makes sense to have them out so they can fire them. But yeah, just wanted to mention that. Did not want to forget it so that you guys wouldn't peg me for that in the comments. But on the top of the box, we have the standard Stormtroopers supporting the actual size reference, and then on the back, we have a bunch of really awesome renders displaying all the different scenarios that you can create with this set, along with all the playability functions that I just went over, along with that additional feature that I just pointed out there. And yeah, really awesome box. Definitely gets the job done. The instruction manual for the Imperial troop transport is only a 33-page build. It's pretty freaking short, and unfortunately at the end of it there are no cool advertisements and there's literally nothing for you to see, but honestly I don't really mind, because this set definitely distracts you from that, because it is really great and absolutely worth the 13 bucks. But yeah, there's really not much to see with this thing. We get a pretty limited amount of extra pieces with the Imperial troop transport. I'm not including the studs that are inside that canister because they're advertised as basically being a part of the set, but if you include them, then I guess you get a few more extra pieces. Other than that, it's just a couple of extra studs, one of which is actually separate from the canister. We get the devious little conniving you know, stud shooter piece that goes in the center of them, and an extra plate. So there you go. Now let's go ahead and finish off the review on this awesome set.
Fire! Okay, everyone reload.
They stopped shooting. Come on, we gotta hurry up.
Faster! Hurry up, soldiers.
I need an extra stud. I need one over here too. Alright guys, and that about wraps up my review on the Imperial Troop Transport, the first battle pack to have nothing but Stormtroopers in it, and this set in its entirety is absolutely worth that 13 bucks, and you've already heard all my reasons just as to why. But if you enjoyed this video, maybe found it informative, be sure to let me know by dropping this video a like below and or your opinion down in the comments, as both of which definitely mean a lot and definitely go a long way, because a lot of recording and editing goes into these reviews, more so than you might think. But yeah, gonna really be trying to crank out as many reviews as I possibly can over these next couple of weeks. But yeah, you can also follow me on the Twitter, the Bookface, the Instagrams. Links to all 3 of those are down in the description below, and there I post all kinds of behind-the-scenes photos and updates and other stuff, and preview photos for upcoming minifigures that I'm working on, like Age of Ultron minifigures, Reverse Flash I'm working on finishing up really soon, Minecraft minifig scale customs, a bunch of awesome stuff that I've already been posting over there that I can't post over here yet, which is why I always recommend those things. And yeah, But I'm really hoping that Lego, I think there's like really no avoiding it. I'm really just looking forward to Star Wars The Force Awakens Stormtroopers in general, and you know, the new molds that those will have, and the new, you know, torso and leg designs. I'm really looking forward to the Force Awakens sets in general, but having these Star Wars Rebel Stormtroopers gets me thinking of what the actual official Force Awakens Stormtroopers will look like. So it's an exciting thought, and it's not too far away either, but I think I'm going to end the review on that note, and I will catch you guys later. Alright.
Bye.
Price point is $12.99. Damn it, words. Alright, so on to the actual Hey, for those of you beasts who stuck around after the outro, here's a quick preview for my Captain America for Avengers Age of Ultron. Yeah, man, I already started on this shit. Ever be made, the very first toy to ever be made, and it, like, okay. About wraps up the review on my